Hello, third and fourth graders. I'm really happy to see you here today. We are continuing on our animal research, which is actually really cool. And we're going to be using ebooks for this. So that's why it says e-read aloud, because we're still reading those books. But here's the deal. For today's work, we're going to be using The Great Kapok Tree by Lynn Cherry, and I'm only going to use a little bit of it. And we're going to use an atlas. But before I even go into what our main focus is, I want to review what an atlas is, and then we'll review what we already know about where our animals live. So let's just start with an atlas. So an atlas is a book of maps. And I know that in third grade we have definitely used atlases quite a bit, and we're going to use one again. Today we are going to be focusing on the world, and this is what we're going to be focusing on. Okay? Now, before we go any further, I want us to think, what do I know of where they live? So I put they there because I know I'm doing frogs, but you are doing other animals. You might be doing a deer, you might be doing a chimpanzee, somebody was doing a chimpanzee, somebody was doing peacocks, somebody was doing giraffes, narwhals. So there's different animals that everybody's looking at. And we need to see what we already know about their habitat. So I want you to stop and think about your own animal. What do you know about your own animal and their habitat, where they live? So can you take a moment and on your 3 fingers, tell me 3 things about them? Can you remember 3 things? Number 1. Number 2. And number 3. Got it. So in my case, I remember that frogs live where there is water and land. They live in the tropics. They can live all over the world except Antarctica. And you told me last time that they don't live in Antarctica. Why? You're right, it gets too cold and they don't want to be in the cold. And last one, they live in trees, under leaves, and ponds. So you have a good idea, right, of where they live. But now we need to start. Remember that we talked about going smaller, what it looked like with the leaves? Well, now we're actually going to go further in, but not this way. We're going to start going back out and seeing what that actually looks like. So we're going to be looking at the bigger picture. We're going to be looking at the world. And there is a word here that we said they live in the tropics. So if I take the word tropics, that means that I have to figure out what the tropics are and where I can see them. So let me just go back to my book where we talked about where they live, right? Can you see this? Today, frogs live almost everywhere in the world. Hot, wet regions known as the tropics have the most frogs. None live on icy Antarctica. So I know that they're the hot, wet regions. That's important. So I'm going to put my book here, and I'm going to think. They live in hot, wet regions. Where would the hottest regions of the world be? If I take the sun, if I take the world, and I shine the sun over here, imagine that my fist over here is the sun, where would it be the hottest? I see you thinking. Yep, you're right. It's going to be right in this area that we know about, because we've talked about it in 3rd and 4th grade, which is the equator, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. That's what I'm going to be looking at. You might have to look at other habitats for your animals. You might be doing, I'm doing the tropics, but you might be looking at habitats like the forests. And not all forests are rainforests. So you might be looking at that one. You might be looking at a grassland. You might be looking at a desert, or you might be looking at a mountain, a tundra, or an aquatic like the ocean or rivers. So I want you to think about your own habitat with your own animal. Now, once you've got what the habitat is, you need to go start researching it. You need to start finding out more about that. So, we've got our atlas, we've got our map, and we said that the sun was the hottest on the equator. So I'm assuming that it is going to be right here where the tropics are. Okay? And I need to go find out in a book. I need to go research it. So I found this amazing book that I've read to you many a times. And it says tropical rainforests. Can you see it? In the Great Cape Tree? Can you see it right there? And here is my equator. And as you can see, it is the hottest right here. And I can see all the rainforests. And it says today's rainforest. Can you see that? So that's really important. So now, I need to learn a little bit about the rainforest. And I can do it using a nonfiction book, or I can use a story that is full of facts. And in this case, I'm going to start reading what the author wrote here. In the Amazon rainforest, it is always hot, and in that heat, everything grows and grows and grows. What other thing do you think helps it grow here? The heat, but in the desert, not many things grow. You got it. It's the rain. It rains a lot in the rainforest. So there we go. You're thinking, and I'm thinking with you. The tops of the trees in the rainforest are called the canopy. So the canopy is at the top. What kind of animals do you think would be living at the top of the canopy? Can you think of one or two? Maybe you can get some ideas from the book? I see, you're thinking about sloths, monkeys. Where's the monkey? I can't see the monkey. Here's a monkey. And some parrots. So they live up there on the top, right? The canopy is a sunny place that touches the sky. The animals that live there like lots of light. Why do they get a lot of light? I'm stopping to think. I need to think about these things. Yeah, because they're at the top, right? So the top of the tree, the canopy, the top of the tree is where there's a lot of light. So they get a lot of light. Good. The animals that live there like lots of light. Colorful parrots fly from tree to tree. So you had it right. Monkeys leap from branch to branch. God, you guys had it right. The bottom of the rainforest is called the understory. Now, if the canopy is up here and the understory is down here, is the understory going to be the same as the canopy? You're right, it's not. It's going to be different, right? Let's see. You are saying it is what? Darker? Let's see. Let's see what you're thinking of. Let's see if you're correct. The bottom of the rainforest is called the understory. The animals that live in the understory like darkness. Yeah, there's not that much light. You were right, weren't you? There, silent snakes curl around hanging vines. Graceful jaguars watch and wait. And in the steamy environment of the great kapok tree shoots up through the forest and emerges above the canopy. This is the story of a community of animals that live in one such tree in the rainforest. So, I want you to start looking and thinking about these questions. Question number 1 is, what animals live there? What animals live there in your habitat? Okay? That's one question I want you to answer. And I want you to tell me at least 3 animals. So tell me 1, 2, 3 animals. In this case, we would say that it was the parrot. Got it? What else? The snake. Can you tell me one more that we talked about? The jaguar. Got it. Jaguar. Now, next question I want you to think about is, which of these animals would most likely eat your animal? So, which of these animals would eat your animal, right? One other thing I need you to do for me. I want you to look for pictures and images and describe using your own words. Describe the habitat. So I want you to look at this picture really quickly. I want you to look at this picture really quickly. Not that one, this one. I want you to look at this. Using what we've read and using this picture. Let's go to this one over here. Or to this one. Can you use your own words to describe this habitat? This is very important because it's giving you a full idea of what you're going to be doing. So I'm going to wait a second and then I'm going to see what you come up with. Are you thinking about it? Can you describe it to me? So I'm imagining that you would say it is very lush. That means that there's a lot of plants growing. It is very green. It's very humid. Are you using those words to describe it? Many animals live there, and it is very fertile. That means that lots of plants are growing there. Did I do a good job thinking about what you were describing? I want you to do that for me. When you go to Google Classroom, these will be the questions that you will be answering this week. So I look forward to seeing you next week. See you later.